be frozen. In fact, it could then be used to pay for Ukrainian resistance. And finally, Representative Kissinger in Congress yesterday was discussing the possibility of closing Ukraine's sovereign airspace. That is something that should also be considered. Folks, don't make any mistake about this. This is our credibility, world's credibility, civilizational credibility on the line.
We are almost literally out of time, so very quickly, if you will, and Taras, both of you, you are going back to fight. Are you willing to die?
I think, of course, not. Nobody is going to die. But say to Ukrainian heroes, 11 Ukrainian sailors who rejected to surrender to Putin's navy on the Ukrainian island Zmyiny, and all of them died. But still, Putin is going to lose in this battle with democracy, in his battle
squeeze
with
Russia into a
Glory
corner.
to Ukraine,
then it was the idea that Ukraine wasn't really a country and was kind of Russia anyway. Now it's about the fact that the place is run by thugs and Nazis, even though the president is Jewish. It's not really a very clear piece of messaging about why on earth Russia is even in Ukraine right now.
Michael.
Well, rational people, and over the years,
they have an academic bent.
Over the years,
They
we've
are
seen
having dropped their
engage in
families,
this type of irrational. But so you have incoming unhinged, and perhaps it's because of COVID, because of the isolation that he is continuing to face from the international community that's starting to get with him. We all knew that Putin was an imperialist sociopath, but what we did not know was that he would really go this unhinged, and we think that all the isolation that's happening to him is really taking an effect. But why he's doing this, your main point, is simply because he believed that Ukraine ought to be an oblast of Russia, that these people should be his serfs. When they refuse to do so, the only thing that he knows how to do is to use force. The only thing that he knows how to do uses Ukraine in Chicago, where he makes up these hyper-exaggerated lies about Zelensky as a drug dealer. He doesn't know what else to do, because when he became, how he's been able to maintain power has nothing to do with running the country. And so being a diplomat and being a person who is with the people like Zelensky is not part of his DNA, and we're seeing that right now.
Sanchez in Moscow was making this. He was the adult in the room. He was the one playing chess while everyone was playing checkers, and all of a sudden, this doesn't even make sense to the people of Russia. Terrell, thanks for saying who you are, and the Russian invasion of Ukraine is straight ahead.
Allergies with nasal congestion overwhelming you? Breathe more freely with powerful Claritin D, so you can.
This is why you want Farmers Claim Forgiveness. Your home premium won't go up just because of this.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Stay tuned to get a free CRISPR tray from Granite Stone. Why is it every time you go to cook a family meal, you have to search for Stone, the ingenious non-stick cookware set that stacks to fit all in one place and takes up a fraction of the space. Plus, each piece of Stackmaster cookware is pressed from a solid aluminum times with our durable non-stick Granite Stone finish that's so good, burnt on cheese, caramel, and chocolate just doesn't stick. Stackmaster is oven rated up to 5. And Master Cook dishwasher safe and PFOA free. Look, you'd expect to pay over $400 for a professional quality cookware set, but during this special TV production,
Gulliver, do stay.
Not for 400, 300.
1 second.
$200, but for the factory
news
direct
agency
price
is
of just
saying that the
5
Ukrainian
easy payments of
president has appeared in a new
$39.99.
video.
Who calls her
Cited in a separate newswire.
Stepmaster cookware is so durable
we're
it
hearing
comes with
that
a
the
10-year warranty. As a bonus, we'll include our self-training fry basket, our
news
stainless
agency
steel insert,
Europe.
and our gourmet recipe guide. Bonus, you'll get our granite stone crisper tray, the fast, easy,
The capital
non-stick
and,
way to
now
fry up
headed
your
west.
favorite foods.
Talk us
No
through
grease or
some of the
oil
scenes.
together. They're $60 value.
Yes, of course, the point
Plus,
confirmed
we'll ship your
either of
entire
those.
order
I mean, that
free.
information
That's
about the
right,
power
free
plant being
shipping.
taken, if
Order
it's
now.
coming from
See order call,
from
1-800 934 4331.
right here, right soldiers that were
Absolutely
family alone
defending our
in
country.
or maybe to a driveway.
We have one.
Driveway would be
And
better.
our truth is
Makes
that
sense.
this
We're
is
gonna get out
our
of here.
land. Our
It's not the way
country.
it came in.
It on. But that is it. That's all I
Been a
wanted
lot of
to
talk
tell
about
you.
sanctions this
Glory
week, but this
to
op-ed
Ukraine.
stuck out to me. Quote, if Putin doesn't that are both the
Strong
product of
resistance
Putin's
in
power
southern
and in
Ukraine.
many ways the
It's happening
source of
near
it.
the city
Members of the
Kherson.
Russian be ready with him. Well, if Putin won't back down here, could it be possible for the West to sway the minds of his allies? Joining us now is the author of that. Elizabeth being with us tonight. I want to ask you first about the construct here. This was at the end of the fall of the Soviet people.
A mother's bed.
They either owe him money or they pay him money or they have to keep him happy. So if you sanction them, you will have some effect on him. Is that true?
It's safer here than on the streets.
Well, that's the theory, but it really depends on how you approach the sanctions. And sanctions are a very tricky tool of foreign policy, and they only work under certain circumstances. You have a patronage system in Russia like you have in a lot of countries around the world. Vladimir Putin is not, all-powerful. He needs people to keep him in power where he is, and not be met by condemnation of the small circle around him and come in. And the idea of trying to take a multi-pronged approach with sanctions where you both target the economy broadly, which is going to both impede Putin's ability to continue funding his war effort, but then also target the people who are closer to him. You realize now that you're not going to persuade Putin to change course. The question is, who has influence over him? And it's a small circle of people who have gotten very, very wealthy operating around him.
But we have tried some version of this since 2012, starting with the Magnitsky Act and sanctions that were put in 2014.
As Ukraine is not a member of NATO, it is not covered by Article 5.
They've had zero impact on him. He's become more aggressive as a result of the sanctions over the last 10 years than less.
And that's a very fair criticism, and a big reason for that is that the sanctions have been quite limited in who we've been targeting, how close we've gotten to Putin himself, and also the approach that oligarchs use to hide their money, right? They use family members, children, and businesses that aren't declared to hide their money and use it in a lot of Western cities and capitals as well. So those are the types of issues that we're going to have to address. One of the changes that we saw with the Biden administration in their sanctions that they announced earlier this week is starting to target the family members.
So far, Russia's wide-ranging attack on its neighbour has been confined to Ukraine's borders.
Oligarchs in places like the United States, Estonia, and
Lithuania and Poland are on high alert.
They're very good at having
We
their
asked for
money,
consultations under NATO's Article 4. Allies can invoke when the territorial integrity,
when you're in a building, you see those fire
security of
stations, the fire, things on the wall that say break glass in case of emergency. Feels like an emergency. Why don't we break the glass and go bigger? Why not remove them from the SWIFT system?
On Friday alone,
yeah, a lot of people are asking that question. Now, sanctions are the various tools you can use are just complicated. Experts right now are debating, how much of a big deal would taking Russia out of the SWIFT system be. And frankly, at this point, I don't think that. I agree with you. It's time to break the glass in case of emergency, and whether or not it would be a huge step above what we're already doing with certain banks and sanctions against them, I think that there's really no reason at this stage not to. But the pushback is a lot of it is related to Europe's dependence on Russian gas, and the fact that things like the SWIFT system and other approaches that they have avoided so far, like directly targeting the energy sector. We're not doing that because it's going to have an impact on civilians and citizens in the West, including in the United States. You heard President Biden a couple of days ago with the first announcement of sanctions to say that he's trying to do everything he can to make these really have an impact on Russia, but not have an impact on American citizens. And we know that European states are taking a similar approach. The problem is the sanctions will be most effective if we go all the way, and that's going to require some sacrifice of other countries.
Right, because you can't take them off the SWIFT system and you can't sanction their energy sector without that making the price of oil and gas go higher for every person in the world who buys oil and gas. Elizabeth, good to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Elizabeth Shackelford is a senior fellow on U.S. foreign policy with the Chicago Council on Global Affairs and a former U.S. diplomat. Thank you for your time tonight. Just want to note one thing before we go to break. This is the jarring front page of tomorrow's New York Times. Ukrainians fortify Kyiv for full attack. President urges citizens to take up arms. Underneath that is the photo of a body of a dead Russian soldier near Kharkiv, where Ukrainian soldiers destroyed several Russian troop carriers. It is stunning.
Magdalena, I think we can now
Still ahead,
an
update tonight on Chernobyl, the site of the world's worst nuclear disaster, now sits in the hands of Russian forces. New details on the danger that might pose.
Nationals are crossing, escaping this violence on this third day of this Russian invasion. Back where you are, Magdalena, what are Polish authorities doing, what are Polish officials doing to help those people that are entering the free poker app?
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I'm asking about Prevnar 20 because there's a chance pneumococcal pneumonia could put me in the hospital.
If you're 19 or older with certain chronic conditions like COPD, asthma, or diabetes, you may be at an increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 20 is approved in adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most common side effects were pain and swelling at the injection site, muscle pain, fatigue, headache, and joint pain.
I want to be able to keep my plans.
That's why I chose to get vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
Because just one dose can help protect me from pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20 today.
Now, for those of you just tuning into France 24
Feel
and
stuck with student loan debt?
Coverage of the situation
Move to
in
SoFi
Ukraine,
and feel what it's like to get your money
some
right.
of the latest developments. This invasion is now entering a third day this Saturday, with the Ukrainian leader saying his soldiers are fighting for the country on all fronts around the clock and on the diplomatic front as well. In the capital Kiev, artillery rounds and gunfire have been heard as the president refuses to leave. Kiev officials are warning residents
Allergies with nasal congestion overwhelming
is
you?
now underway
Breathe more
against
freely
these
with
Russian
powerful
forces,
Claritin
and they
D.
are urging
Get
people
fast
to
relief of
seek
your worst
shelter.
allergy
Do
symptoms,
stay with
including
us. Our
nasal
special
congestion.
coverage of the
You can
crisis in
breathe
Ukraine
better.
continues
Claritin
for
D.
you here
Breathe
from
better.
Hello,
Hi, I'm Shannon Storms-Fedor. When we started selling my health products online, our shipping process was painfully slow. Then we found ShipStation. Now we're shipping out orders 5 times faster. And thanks to ShipStation's discounted rates, we're saving a ton. Honestly, we couldn't do it without ShipStation.
Join over 100,000 online sellers who get shipping done with ShipStation. Go to shipstation.com/try and get 2 months free.
We are pet parents.
And we don't have fully designed dog products.
This is a gorgeous memory foam bed and matching blanket from Pot on Top.
It looks doggone good.
They're all machine washable. This protects my sofa from Sophie.
It's waterproof for Babu and his treats.
Well, Delta Airlines is announcing ending its partnership with
Give your
Russian
puppy the
airline
puppy
Air
products
France
that make their
in
little
response to the
puppy tails
invasion.
whack.
It follows
Parents
the
agree on
termination of a
paw.com.
sponsorship deal by Manchester
20%
United.
off with
Big
code
One Team
PAW.
has more on what it means for the business world and for passengers.
As we continue to monitor Russia's ongoing invasion of Ukraine, we're keeping a close eye on the situation at the site of the world's worst nuclear disaster. Thursday, Ukrainian officials reported that Russian forces had taken control of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant site. Friday morning, Ukrainian officials told us that in addition to having taken control of Chernobyl, Russian forces had also taken 92 workers at that volatile nuclear disaster site hostage. The Ukrainian ambassador to the U.S. said because of the hostage situation, the workers at the plant were no longer able to work in shifts and follow the strict regulations that the plant requires. So despite that, government officials say that the nuclear facilities remain under control and are being serviced by the plant staff. Ukraine's nuclear regulator also released a statement this morning saying, quote, the control levels of gamma radiation dose rate at that nuclear disaster site
Thanks so much for
were
watching our
exceeded,
breaking news
end
coverage of
quote.
the Russian
But international
invasion.
regulators
Ukraine
maintain that the
continues.
detected increases have not reached levels that are dangerous to the public. Now, the reason Ukraine says that we're seeing an increase in radiation levels is because Russia's heavy military equipment is disturbing the soil around Chernobyl. So the soil, which is still contaminated with radiation from that disaster nearly 40 years ago, is kicking it up into the atmosphere. Now the Russian government has finally broken their silence on the situation at the nuclear site. Russia confirmed that it has in fact taken control of the Chernobyl plant, but denied that the radiation levels in the area had increased. They gave their own spin on the hostage situation, saying that they're working with Ukrainian guards to ensure the safety of the facilities. Despite all that, the New York Times reports that a spokesperson for the Ukrainian presidential office contradicted that claim. He said the Ukrainian government has received information that Russian saboteurs plan to conduct a terrorist act at the Chernobyl plant to cause a powerful environmental catastrophe. This is a serious one. We're going to continue to monitor the situation as it develops. And that does it for us for this hour. Our live coverage of the Russian invasion of Ukraine continues next with my colleague, Yasmin Vasugian. Stay with us.
I have moderate to severe ulcerative colitis, so I'm taking Zeposia, a once-daily pill, because I won't let UC stop me from being me.
Zeposia can help people with UC achieve and maintain remission, and it's the first and only S1P receptor modulator approved for UC. Don't take Zeposia if you've had a heart attack, chest pain, stroke or mini-stroke, heart failure in the last 6 months, irregular or abnormal heartbeat not corrected by a pacemaker, if you have untreated severe breathing problems during your sleep, or if you take medicines called MAOIs. Zeposia may cause serious side effects, including infections that can be life-threatening and cause death, slow heart rate, liver or breathing problems, increased blood pressure, macular edema, and swelling and narrowing of the brain's blood vessels. Though unlikely, a risk of PML, a rare, serious, potentially fatal brain infection, cannot be ruled out. Tell your doctor about all your medical conditions, medications, or if you are or plan to become pregnant. If you can become pregnant, use birth control during treatment and for 3 months after you stop taking Zeposia. Don't let UC stop you from doing you. Ask your doctor about once daily Zeposia.
It's time for the ultimate Sleep Number event on the Sleep Number 360 Smart Bed.
What if I sleep hot?
Problem. The Sleep Number 360 Smart Bed is temperature balancing, so you both sleep just right. And it senses your movements and automatically adjusts to keep you both effortlessly comfortable.
So you can really promise better sleep.
Yes, you'll know exactly how well you slept night after night. We take care of the science. All you have to do is sleep. Don't miss the final days to save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed, plus 0% interest for 48 months on all smart beds. Ends Monday.
Some people use spoons. Others use ice cubes or tea bags. Sometimes even hemorrhoid cream. What are they doing? They're trying to eliminate wrinkles and under eye bags. Now, the best way to do this is to take the Plexiderm 10-minute challenge, just like this man is doing right now on the screen. He's applying Plexiderm, and in minutes, you'll see a difference. Right now, you can take the Plexiderm 10-minute challenge for just $14.95. In 10 minutes, you'll see your under eye bags and wrinkles visibly shrink from view.
I'm Neela. I'm 61 years old. I'm a professional personal trainer. It's so important to be in good health and to be fit and take care of yourself. Plexiderm makes you feel as good outside as you do inside. Honest to God, it's amazing. There's nothing there. Like, the bags are gone.
If under eye bags make you look tired and older, take the Plexiderm 10-minute challenge by going to plexidermtrial.com or call the number on your screen.
For the line crew and the go-getters.
Vladimir
For
Putin's
shoulders to
troops
lean on.
push on with their invasion of Ukraine with that incursion
Backs that don't
entering
break.
its third day this
For
Saturday.
everyday heroes
Amid
keeping doors
heavy
open,
fighting and fresh
lights on, and
explosions
ears
in the
turned.
capital,
There's Granger.
Kiev, which
Supplies and
remains in
solutions for every
defense
user,
mode to
plus
stave off
24/7
Russia's
support to over
intense
250
attacks.
local branches. Call
This
for Granger.com
is
just stop by.
The
Granger.
UN
For the
Secretary
ones
General
who get
is
it
urging
done.
Russian
Hello and welcome
soldiers
to our
to
viewers
return to
joining us
their
from all
barracks.
around the world.
Russian
I'm Michael
armies
Holmes,
say
coming
it's
to you from the village in western Ukraine with our breaking news on the battle for control of cities. The Ukrainian
Good morning, everybody. I'm Yasmin Vasugian. It is 2 a.m. here on the East Coast and 9 a.m. in Ukraine. Just a short time ago, we heard a new defiant message from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. He posted this video to Twitter, forcefully denying claims that he has called his army to stand down while showing he is still in Kiev. He says in part this: I'm here. We won't put down our weapons. We'll protect our country because our weapon is our truth. This new message coming after a tough night for Ukrainians, including large amounts of gunfire and explosions that were heard throughout the capital city of Kiev throughout the night. I want you to take a look at a video from a defense reporter for the Kiev Independent newspaper showing combat fire near the Kiev Zoo in the city center, happening overhead. Despite reports of this heavy fighting on at least 3 separate fronts, Russian forces have not yet succeeded in capturing any major Ukrainian city. And that could be because citizens themselves, as you see in so many of these startling images, are taking up arms and fighting for their country, remaining united. The Ukraine Ministry of Defense reporting that Russian losses so far include 14 aircraft, over 100 tanks, more than 500 combat vehicles, and 3,000 personnel. These numbers are provided by the Ukrainian government once again and cannot be verified by NBC News. The fighting is continuing in Ukraine on this third day of war. Officials in Kiev warning residents this morning to remain in their shelters because fighting against Russian forces has broken out in the streets. With that, I want to get right to NBC's Cal Perry, who's standing by for us in Lviv, the western edge of Ukraine. Cal, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks so much for joining us. Talk us through where we are as residents of Ukraine are waking up this morning. You yourself just 30 miles from the Ukraine, from the Poland border, I should say. But sirens going off in your city, at one point considered a safe harbor.
And the truth is that this is our land.
Yeah, this was supposed to be that fallback position, that safe city that not only diplomatic staff could face themselves from races and civilians could flee if this turned into a wider conflict. You know, there was so much thinking early on here, and the threat of this downplayed by the Ukrainian government, that people, frankly, thought that this would be a war confined just to the east where there has been a war for the past 8 years. Instead, we are seeing incredibly scenes coming from the Ukrainian capital, fighting heavy overnight in the suburbs of streets and filtering right to the city. Continuing in Ukraine, the country's third biggest city, which is not too far from the city of political news agencies just moments ago. It's now been captured at some point during their advance. Now, the issues here in the West
Yes, that's right. We heard that Melitopol had been coming under fierce attack ever since this Russian assault started. It is a port down there on the Sea of Azov, and Russians are going after these critical infrastructure points. So further east from there as well, there's been shelling of the city of Mariupol. It really is a complex, multi-pronged attack. What we're hearing from Melitopol, which is south of where I am, south down this river.
Yeah, as you talked about, obviously, the Russians advancing in trying to get into major cities like Kiev.
The Russians have been fighting fiercely there against Ukrainians who have been putting up fierce resistance.
Right, it seems that up until this point, the Russians have not been able to advance at the pace that they have wanted to, right? At the pace at which Putin expected them to when he decided to invade the country of Ukraine. But how
we were yesterday
can the Ukrainians and people that have taken up arms, how long
to try and get into safety, terrified and telling us they didn't know where to go next.
Yeah,
so
and
this region is very destabilized because as we've seen, Russian military are not only attacking Kiev, which is clearly a very intense situation, but they're attacking different fronts and strategic targets. And you can see this vast river behind me, the Dnieper River, which has a number of hydroelectric dams and pipelines on it, and divides Ukraine into east and west, basically. So this is clearly a central strategic point in any war for Ukraine, and it's clear and very aware that they could very well be the next target.
Ammunition to try. If we don't have that quote, that's what the Associated Press is reporting. And it would not surprise me because that is the kind of talk that he's doing. This is all intensified.
You've of course been talking to locals on the ground.
Those figures that he's telling you is 3,500 Russian troops. I can't verify those figures, but I can tell you for sure the Ukrainian government is going to try to put out any news that's going to keep people's spirits up in this country because you've got not only
about the war which is now raging upon them. So people are afraid. They've been trying to stay calm. We are seeing signs of that fear, that long lines outside petrol stations, people trying to get cash, and that's very difficult for a lot of people because cash machines are running down, communications can be but sometimes they are patchy, and people are stocking up on food things. In cities where we've been, where there has been shelling, people have been running to shelter, and perhaps when air raid sirens sound, they've been running to get safe. But the overriding message they get is that they're bewildered, they don't know where to go. Some of them have to go to head west to Lviv and try and get out.
How much do they have?
A major humanitarian situation we can imagine building up there in the west of the country as more people try to flee.
I can't help but hear children playing behind me. Is that the sounds of children there waking up in the morning? The city that you are playing in feeding the town. What a scene, what a sound.
Whatever the cost, they will stay and fight for their homes.
In their country, and we were just seeing those images of the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. I just want you to kind of expand a little bit more on how it's helping the Ukrainian people seeing their president standing and staying in their country. We see the images coming out of Ukraine. I can't help but think about and compare it to what happened in Afghanistan just a few months ago when Ghani just left the country, right, amidst the Taliban descending on Kabul. And I know this is a very different situation, but obviously Zelensky, even given the permission to leave, right, the right into the country for safety, denying that and wanting to stand with his people.
This map shows you just how that fighting is
and the evacuation plan in part was to come here
across Ukraine. Our colleagues at Fox Television filmed this
discussing this with him at Greg. There was an urging for him to get to safety, but at times the Americans can see the advantage of staying. I think the two questions are similar. People are arriving here with their families and they're trying to make their way to the border in transit.
But the fighting is intense,
kids all over the city that
Commander.
are not necessarily from the
Moments of
city.
respite,
Kids are going to be kids even in a war zone. And you see her trying to get these kids moving around the city, and that's what you heard here. There's
and our
little
team
bags
leaves the
sort of all
area.
over the place. And as they look at the television, as folks are on social media and as they're following the events, the pictures coming out of Kiev are surreal, they're terrifying, and they're harrowing. But what has emerged from that is almost a new President I mean, it was a few weeks ago when the international community was heavily upset with him for downplaying the threat, and the Americans couldn't understand what was happening. And he wasn't viewed here as necessarily a strong leader. I mean, this is a man who had faithful conversation with President Trump. During the last U.S. administration, when President Trump threatened to withhold military aid, he was seen as getting bullied by the United States. And now he is above ground in the city of Kyiv. The government locally there has said that he is now personally taking place in organizing the defense of the city. So he's emerged not only as a political leader, but as a military leader. And these videos, I think, are extremely important. That we continue to see that he is alive, that he is
Cal Perry for us in Ukraine. Cal, I'm going to be checking back in with you over the next 3 hours or so, so I appreciate you standing by for us throughout that. Thanks, Cal. Now, I want to turn now from Ukraine. We go to Moscow. My name is Ralph Sanchez, standing by for us now. So as Cal and I were just talking about, right, the emergence of, it seems, a more powerful leader in Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, his people looking to him for guidance, for unity, as his country, as their country is being battered on the other end. I'm sure you've had Vladimir Putin in Moscow, it seems, losing footing there as protests are erupting across Russia.
Yeah, Yasmin, I think a lot of people inside and outside Russia have been really taken aback at the scale of conflict descent against Vladimir Putin's war. We have now seen 2 nights of spontaneous anti-war protests in cities all across Russia. More than 2,000 Russian citizens have been arrested for taking part in those protests. And these people understood the risks of going out onto the street and protesting against Vladimir Putin, especially in time of war. They understood the risk of getting a nightstick in the face of a police officer, of being arrested, of being prosecuted down the line for rioting, if you're lucky, for terrorism, if you're unlucky, and that can carry a criminal record with it that will haunt you for years and years and years and make it very difficult to get a job. And yes, but beyond the people on the streets, we have been seeing this public discomfort with the war seeping into the cultural realm, the sporting realm. A member of Russia's national soccer team has been saying no to war. A leading Russian tennis player, a very high-profile hip-hop artist, canceled a number of shows here in Russia, saying to his fans, listen, I can't entertain you when bombs are raining down on Kyiv. And yes, but I think one of the feelings here is that people felt that they knew Vladimir Putin, whether they liked him or not. They had lived under his rule for 22 years now, and they knew him to be a person who was calculating, who was not reckless. But to many, many Russians, many who didn't believe that this invasion would happen in the first place, let alone that it would be as maximalist as it is now, many Russians are looking anew at the president of Russia and wondering, what is the plan here? Has he committed their sons, their brothers, their fathers to
this Saturday morning in a fresh video that he's released, he's saying that
strategy, no real sense of what mission accomplished would look like, and that is causing deep disquiet in the country this morning. Yes.
Ralph, I can't help but think, I myself have reported from Moscow on numerous occasions. I lived there for quite some time. I understand kind of the politics of what it's like inside Russia, the risks that people are taking, obviously, to walk out onto the streets, to protest publicly, whether it be online or anywhere else. And it really does speak to how this is playing out in Russia. It's not like here in the United States. There's no sense of freedom of speech, right? You can't just walk out on the streets and protest against a war that your leader has started without the risk of being arrested, and not just for a night, for days, possibly for months, even for years, for standing up against someone like Vladimir Putin. Really speaking to, it seems, what's happening inside that country, which is fairly, by the way, unprecedented, right?
You mentioned that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people were not anticipating that you would see descent on this scale. It's been really interesting when you're trying to get a sense of what is the Russian public being told and what they're not being told about this war. So we've been watching state television here in the Moscow Bureau, and it's really interesting interesting. State television is talking a lot about the diplomacy, a lot about what's happening in the UN, a lot about sanctions that have been imposed by Western countries on Russia. What they are not showing is a lot of footage from the battlefield. They are not really giving the Russian public a sense of how quickly or not quickly Russian forces are advancing. That may be a reflection of the fact that this is turning into a much tougher fight than the Russian government anticipated. You mentioned earlier that the Ukrainian government has been putting out these figures, about 3,000 Russian soldiers killed. We haven't verified those figures. The Ukrainian government may have an incentive to be inflating them. But part of the reason that we're struggling to give an accurate number is the Russian government is not telling its own people how many Russian servicemen have been killed. And so people who have family members in the military really don't have a strong sense of how many young Russians are being lost on the front here. This is a conscript army. There are professional soldiers leading the charge, but there are also a lot of young men who have been conscripted and a lot of worried Russian families at home thinking about what's happening to them. Yasmin?
Hey, Raf, just quickly here. I always find it fascinating, and I love that you were obviously watching the local television there, because we tend to learn so much when we are covering these stories and watching how they portray it. And I wonder if either Vladimir Putin is giving any kind of interviews, especially something like Russian TV, and or B, making his motives, right, his end game known to the Russian people.
So we are hearing very selectively from Vladimir Putin at the moment. This is a leader who is more isolated than ever. He, has gone through very, very strict COVID lockdown. We saw that kind of comically long table he had President Macron sitting at. And that's the sort of physical manifestation of how cut off he is at the moment. The last time we heard from him was during the day on Friday, when he gave this address that was partially aimed to the Ukrainian military. He denounced the Ukrainian government and President Zelensky as a bunch of drug addicts and neo-Nazis, and he urged the Ukrainian military leadership to effectively mount a coup, knock out that government, and then negotiate directly with the Kremlin.
All right, Raf Sanchez for us. Raf, I'm going to talk to you again in the next hour, so for now, thank you. So as the Russian advance pushes further into Ukraine, the White House is continuing its own response, of course, and a new memo tonight authorizing up to $600 million in assistance to Ukraine under the Foreign Assistance Act of 1961. This is coming as the White House announces sanctions directly on Vladimir Putin in coordination with EU allies. President Biden also sharing he met with NATO allies and spoke with Ukrainian President Zelensky by phone as well. Want to bring in NBC's Lauren Egan, who's been standing by for us, reporting on all things White House at the moment. Lauren, talk to me this morning. Thank you so much for joining us on this. The response at the White House that we are expecting, and of course this money that the president is now asking for when it comes to additional aid to Ukraine. What more are we learning?
The White House is certainly going to continue to explore different avenues available to them to help Ukraine. The one thing the president has been very explicit about that is not on the table is actually sending U.S. troops into the region to fight Russia. What we've seen over this past week is the president unveiled different buckets of sanctions against Russia that really came to a head on Friday when the president issued a sanction directly targeting Russian President Vladimir Putin. This was a big moment, but it was largely symbolic. It is very difficult to actually target the Russian president's assets. They are hidden, making it very difficult to freeze them. But President Biden issued that sanction in partnership with the EU and other allies, sending a really clear message on the world stage that the West was united in condemning Putin's actions, ongoing actions in Ukraine. We are learning that President Biden is asking Congress for an additional $6.4 billion in aid to help Ukraine. We expect that to receive bipartisan support. The president right now is at his private home in Wilmington, Delaware. He's expected to remain there throughout the weekend. The White House has said that he's capable of receiving secure phone calls at his private home. He is scheduled tomorrow morning or Saturday morning to meet with his national security team. We do not know at the moment of any other calls that President Biden is expected to have throughout the weekend. We know that the last time that he spoke with Zelensky was Friday for about 40 minutes. The two spoke over the phone, and the White House has said that the two leaders are going to remain in contact as this situation continues to unfold, Yasmin.
achieved in the first 2 days.
Okay, so while we have that going on, obviously we also have some domestic things that are developing as well. So while I have you on, I do want to touch on that momentarily. And we're of course talking about what will be soon an open seat on the Supreme Court. The president announcing plans to nominate Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson to the Supreme Court. Tell us what more you know about this historic nomination.
Did they have a plan B?
That's right. President Biden announced her nomination at an event at the White House Friday afternoon. It was a historic moment. If confirmed, she would be the first black woman to sit on the Supreme Court. But that moment was in part overshadowed by this ongoing situation in Ukraine. Jackson has a long road ahead of her. It typically takes from the moment you're nominated to confirmation about 70 days. So looking ahead, we are expecting Jackson in the coming weeks to start meeting with senators. She's going to be asked by the Senate to fill out a very long questionnaire detailing her background, her work experience. And Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has said that he wants to move quickly on her nomination, but before she even gets there, she's going to have to sit down for these meetings and these conversations. That's before we even get to a hearing, let alone a vote.
There's clearly going to be massive resistance if the
all right, for now, I'm Mrs. Lauren, of course. Thank you for that reporting, Lauren. We appreciate it. Still, everybody, we have a lot more to get to. We're going to hear from a former member of the Ukrainian parliament with a personal perspective on what is happening in her country. Stay with us.
It's been described by one high-level diplomat in Brussels as being a politically important signal after the Ukrainian president urged Europe to speed up their act for decisive. The EU has now responded. The Brussels has agreed to a number of sanctions, this time seizing the European assets of the Russian leader Vladimir Putin and his foreign minister Sergei Lavrov. The UK, the US, and Canada have followed suit.
Getting right to the point.
The Russian foreign ministry says the sanctions simply illustrate the
6 months of extra time mortgage payments that would probably never happen.
The sanctions against Russia continue to what of sanctions against the man leading the invasion of Ukraine, Vladimir Putin. For Brussels, it is not as simple as freezing seized assets, estimated at several billion euros. The most extreme sanctions will in fact affect the Russian state over any individuals. Sanctions will hit the commercial sector, with technology no longer being sold to Russia. The same goes for new airplanes and aeronautic equipment in the US. Banks must sever their corresponding banking ties with Russia's largest lender further within 30 days. Will all this be enough?
The sanctions will not have a very important impact on the Russian economy in any case, much less than the West would like, because Russia has been anticipating them for years. Russia understood that no matter what, it had to try to protect its financial sector, its economy, as much as possible from new sanctions in the years to come.
Vladimir Putin has spent years preparing for this eventuality. Russia has built up its financial reserves of over $600 billion. Another ace up the Russian sleeve between itself and Ukraine has produced nearly a quarter of the world's wheat supply. The invasion has led to fears of a global supply shortage. Europe has one last weapon, potentially denying Russian banks access to SWIFT, a secure messaging system that links 11,000 financial institutions. Some countries like France want to cut Russia's access immediately, but other countries who are more dependent on Russian gas, like Germany, are more reluctant to do so, fearing
Our international affairs commentator Armin Georgian is still going to be here on set to give us his take on the sanctions being slapped on Russia by the West. Just how big of a blow, Armin, are these sanctions?
Well, of course, Russian officials keep saying that they have everything I deserve. They have used the same with the benefit that testing, so putting their economy on a different scenario, essentially based on the existing Western sanctions. There was a whole series of them involved towards that since 2016. So essentially the line from Moscow has been it's 1865. It doesn't really just end sanctions. The thing is that in our democracy, it's factor everything else in this is not just the reconstruction of these sanctions as Biden national they don't have an overall effect that our Reconstructability, like history says. Listen now, wherever you go podcast. On top of that, you have
have a new factor now, which is the cost of this war. Because if it's
All right, welcome back,
not
everybody. So as
that
Ukraine is trying to defend
supposed
itself
to be, if that was
from
the
Russian
idea,
invasion, the country's government has taken forward in the fight. Just hours ago, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky posted a video from an undisclosed location warning the fate of Ukraine is being decided now. He has vowed not to flee the country in support of his people. Ukrainian parliament is picking up guns to aid the country's military efforts. I want you to take a listen to a member of Kira Rudik. She was on with my colleague Joy Reid.
And majorly reduced dependence on Russian energy. Is that going to be the case by next winter, say? Will the momentum for that keep rolling, or will it be like after 2014 when there was sort of initial outrage, the agenda moved on, and it was sort of back to business as usual with reliance on Russian energy?
And a fellow member of parliament now joining me from Kiev is Svetlana Zelishuk, a member
beginning of actually a completely new situation with a new strategic shift by Europe.
Let me just ask you, this morning as you are waking up, as your country is waking up after another night of fighting, as it seems the Russian military is descending into the city in which you are right now, how are you doing? Are you safe?
First
of all, I want to say that Ukraine doesn't give up, and Ukrainian president doesn't surrender, and this is what keeps our army's spirit high and our people confident that Ukraine will remain our home. At the same time, it doesn't make these blows less devastating, of course. And to be honest, I left Kiev. I didn't feel safe with my family. I'm blacklisted in Russia, persona non grata, so we decided to move to the west. However, I'm in Ukraine. But at the same time, you know, by saying that I'm safe now, I feel also very guilty. I feel guilty because so many people are not safe in Kiev, in many other cities. But at the same time, I just want to say that we're not going to give our country to Putin.
He declared a state of emergency and called up his reserves.
I can only understand the situation that you're in, obviously. With your family as well, wanting to seek safe harbor. I know that nobody can hold you. Could imagine being the situation that you're in.
2 days after
so
that,
we understand.
he ordered a general military mobilization.
At what point did you decide to leave Kiev?
Earlier this month found that less than 40% of
so we
Ukrainians
woke
saw
up,
their president
you know, with these explosions in Kyiv at 5 o'clock in the morning the day before yesterday, and we decided first to stay and to help journalists to report in English language so the world can see what's really going on the ground. But then later on, we've got different kind of information from intelligence that Kyiv may be encircled, and I've also got some American friends who told me that, hey, you were one of the most articulate person when it comes to Russian aggression. You were a legislator, so you probably have to be. So this is what we've done. We just packed our small suitcase and our dog, and we left. And we were on the road for around 20 hours because the roads are completely blocked and hundreds of thousands of people trying to find some safety with children, with their grandparents. Many people thought that, okay, it's going to be Kiev or maybe southern or eastern cities, but now we understand that air strikes are occurring around many cities in central part, in western part. Sirens are heard here in the western Ukraine, so it looks like nowhere is safe at the moment, because we know that Putin's aim is not just Kyiv or Donbass. Putin's aim is to have Ukraine, the whole country. And I just want to say that this is like a historic moment, you know. It's the biggest war of century. It's the biggest war of our generation. His blow is not a blow on Ukraine, it's a blow on humanity, on dignity, on human rights, on human lives, you know. So I'd like to say that we expect the international community to stand up with Ukraine
And I think that the response should be based not on the principle of NATO membership. It should be based on moral responsibility to stop this hell that is happening in heart of Europe. It's not an attack on Ukraine. It's an attack on the whole democratic world.
What do you want from the international community? Do you want boots on the ground in your country?
Well, you know, we wanted to become a NATO member. We haven't been given NATO membership. In 2008, during the Bucharest summit, we were refused, together with Georgia, we have been refused a membership action plan. At that point, it was motivated, the refusal was motivated by the fact that it may escalate situation with Russia. Instead of escalation, we received two full-fledged wars. First, Russia invaded Georgia in 2008, and then Russia invaded Ukraine in 2014, annexed Crimea, Donbass, and now full-fledged invasion on the capital with airstrikes, with bombs in civilian areas, on the houses, on people. Children are dying, people are dying. So I wanted to say that it's, you know, it's hypocritical. It's hypocritical because first we were said, sorry, we're not going to take you to NATO because Russia may escalate, may attack you, and now you are saying we're not going to come to Ukraine because we'll fight with Russia. So yes, we wanted to become a members of NATO. However, now of course we are talking about different help. At the moment, we need very painful, devastating sanctions against Russia, which is happening at the moment. At the same time, I can see that, for example, SWIFT haven't been stripped of Russia, haven't been banned. And I've seen also that German Minister for Foreign Affairs, Alina Baerbock, justified it that, for example, some Russian grandmother wouldn't be able to receive some money transfer from Germany from her granddaughter. I wanted to say this to Minister for Foreign Affairs of Germany, that by not banning SWIFT to Russia, you are denying Ukrainian grandchildren's lives. Some children that are dying now won't have their lives, you know, not talking about transfers to their grandmothers. So, you know what, I'm talking about this SWIFT, that Russian population has to feel the pain. Why? Because then they will be our allies in this war, because then they will feel Putin, they will make Putin feeling that, okay, it went too far, I have to stop because I will be out of the country, that he will be defeated in Kremlin by his own population. I think we have to make sure that Russian population is our ally in their protest, and in order to make that, we need to make it really painful sanctions against Russia.
Reuters news agency says fresh missile hits the area in the city near the Sevastopol Square, while the Kiev city government says one other missile has struck a residential building.
Thank you. Coming up, everybody, a recap of how we got here with Ukraine and where we're going with insight from Congressman Brad Sherman, a senior member of the House of Foreign Affairs. I'll be right back.
To the north of the capital, the city where street fighting has
designed specifically for patriots. The Bissell Crossway exit purposes multi-surface cleaner vacuums and washes at the same time.
A new video has meanwhile been published this Saturday morning. A video showing that Ukrainian leader outside his office in the capital. He's reiterated his position that he, his ministers, and his armed forces
must make you still. Whatever stage of pet parenthood you're in, Bissell helps you live in the moment, not the mess.
In the last year, there was a victim of identity theft every
Ukrainians. Lately, there has been a lot of fake information online that called on the army to lay down arms and to evacuate. Listen, we will not lay down our weapons. We will defend our states because our weapons are our truth. The truth is that this is our weapon, our country, our choice, and we will defend all of that. That's all I wanted to tell you. Let's glory.
exact cause of describing how clear
BlackRock's $1 million protection package providing experts
The Defense Ministry in Moscow is meanwhile saying that its troops have used air and sea-based cruise missiles to attack military targets. The IFAX news agency
help
has
protect
now
what's
confirmed that
LifeLock identity theft protection.
has been captured by Russia. France 24 says senior reporter Catherine Morris-Trent is following developments for us on the ground. She joins us now from the middle of Ukraine. Catherine, you're in the country's third biggest city, which is not too far from the city of Melitopol, which news agencies say has now been captured.
Yes, that's right. We'd heard that Melitopol had been coming under fierce attack ever since this Russian assault started. It is a port down there on the Sea of Azov, and Russians are going after these critical infrastructure points. So further east from there as well, there's been shelling on the port city of Mariupol. It really is a complex, multi-pronged attack. But what we're hearing from Melitopol, which is south of where I am, south down this river, the Dnieper River, which is the major river, the major waterway inside Ukraine, is that the Russians have been fighting fiercely there against Ukrainians who've been putting up fierce resistance, and they've been heading north out of Crimea, which Russia annexed in 2014. And in cities all along this river, there have been air raid sirens, there have been people huddling in bomb shelters. Where we were yesterday in the city of Zaporizhia, there we witnessed ourselves people rushing down into underground basements to try and get to safety, terrified and telling us they didn't know where to go next. So the region is very much on the alert because as we